Well, welcome everyone to
Everyone.
the Voyage Christmas special, 365 Days of Kindness. I am Laura Cross, the host of Mindful Mondays, and Megan,
Oh,
go ahead.
and I'm Megan North. I'm the guest host of the Transcend Succeed show.
Along with some of our wonderful special guests that we had last season. And first of all, I want to say thank you for everyone for showing up and taking time to join us for this special. I wonder have you ever noticed how many people tend to show kindness during the holidays, on special occasions, or when tragedy strikes? So when I met Santa Papa John and learned how he spreads joy, kindness, and goodwill all year round, it got me to asking, why aren't more people doing the same? And how can we bring awareness and positive change to the world? Because I'm seeing him and connecting with Santa, I couldn't help but to smile inside and out. So I want to thank everyone for joining me. And Santa Papa John, maybe you can kick us off and tell us how you got started with this and some of the things that you do to help spread that kindness year round and not just at Christmas.
Well, thank you. And thank you for inviting me to this wonderful occasion. And yes, there is no excuse why we can't share happiness and cheerfulness and positivity around the world every day. There's enough ugly in the world that if we all took a little step forward and we shared some happiness, we shared a smile with someone. Like I do a video every day, about 2 minutes long, and I share it on 10 different platforms every day. You get up in the morning, you have a choice. Are you going to be grumpy and miserable, or are you going to be cheerful, happy, and positive? I choose to be happy and cheerful and positive because it's like throwing the rock into the lake when you got a clear lake and there's no ripples in the lake, you throw a rock into that lake, those waves are going to go and touch every bit of that shoreline on that lake. And that's what a smile does. A simple gesture that we do, most of us do every day, numerous times during the day. But if we shared it like the wave and we started spreading that, how many people are they going to spread it to, and are they going to spread it to? Remember the old TV commercial, you tell two friends and they tell two friends and they tell two friends. That's a simple smile can do the same thing, but yet there's people that don't even have a reason to smile in this goofy world that we live in. So let's share some happiness. Let's share some positivity, and if we all took the step forward and we did that, just think how much better the world would be.
Absolutely. And so, Santa Papa John, how did you get into this? What started this for you, and how long have you been Santa Papa John?
Well, I'm going into year number 7. And I'm a truck driver by trade. I've got 3 million miles in a big truck. And I got laid off a little over a year ago. And I said to my wife, I said, here's my golden ticket to see where I can take this Santa idea. And I mean, she makes all these amazing shirts for me. She makes my suits for me. So I'm blessed to have a very talented wife that is a very amazing seamstress, because there's no doubt who I am when I'm wearing shirts like this. Besides, this has been here for about 14 years. And you walk down the street, it don't matter what I'm wearing. I remember sitting in a warehouse in Chicago getting unloaded, and this was in like July, and it's like 85 degrees. And I get out of the truck, and this guy beside me is looking at me, and he's looking at me, and finally I get out of the truck to stretch because they were taking their time unloading me, and he rolls down his window, and of course, Mexican, Senor, momento, momento. I says, what's up, brother? And he says, are you Santa Claus? And I'm wearing a green t-shirt, black pants, black tennis shoes on. There's nothing that says Santa on me but a white beard. And I says, absolutely, I'm Santa. So I give him a card. Of course, I give him some business cards, and he says, my kids are going to be so excited I got to meet Santa Claus. I said, in Chicago. So, the reality of having the beard, doing the persona, changing my life, It doesn't matter where I go and what I'm doing. I'm Santa Claus. So it is shaped my life in the fact that I get to share happiness. I get to create happiness, and I get to create some fun memories for all members of all families. And there's no age limit to believing in Santa. Last year I had a 10-day-old baby in my arms, and I had a 91-year-old young great grandmother on my knee. And of course, I got her giggling and laughing because that's what it's all about. So
Beautiful.
when I got laid off, I said, here's my golden ticket. Let me see what I can do this. And of course, I was busy for November and December. But then I started thinking, what am I going to do January to, September? And I said, well, let's start with a simple video of creating happiness and positivity. Everybody always needs more of that in their life. And then I started figuring out the different videos. I do happy birthday videos. I do Santa check-in videos. And now I'm reading stories to the children. I do free stories. I do online stories. But now, in fact, it was a meeting almost like this, except it was 5 ladies when I first started doing the stories. And they said, Santa, take it to the next level. And I said, what's the next level? Can you imagine me reading a story to your family, Megan, and your grandchildren are sitting around the big screen and I'm watching this. They're watching me read a story and I say their names in the story. So I create custom created stories for families with their children's names in it. Now talk about creating a family Christmas memory.
Absolutely.
So I've come up with all different kinds of ideas to market myself and to families and businesses.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because kindness is not just personal; it's business. I think it's I think it's important, to do it in business as well. And I think maybe we'll start with Jean, and because I know you might need to leave us, so maybe you can share with us some things because I know you've had some experience, especially being a business strategist, of how you've shared, kindness or what you've done.
I think one of the things, the kindness that I share with people is I give a lot away for free, right? I make a really nice living and I'm really happy with the money I make. And it allows me to be able to do more for people who maybe can't afford to work with me right away. But I want to make sure that I help them because my mission is to help as many women over 50 as possible get to 6 figures because only 12% of women business owners ever hit 6 figures. So for me, that's really important. And if I have to give them free stuff to get there, I will do that. Right. So yeah, I don't know. I just think a long time ago, I was in a room with Zig Ziglar and he said, you can have everything you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want. And I literally have lived my life that way since 1990 is that I help other people get what they want, no matter what that takes.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot to say about that because it not only helps others and makes them happy, but it makes you feel good too. Mm-hmm. I think it works for, for yourself too. So maybe even if you didn't feel like it, but then after you do it, if you do it for someone, it actually helps kind of light yourself up as well.
Right. And I do believe that it also increases your vibrational energy, which what does that do? It attracts more things that you want to you. So yeah, I love that. I love that. I love your 365 days of kindness.
Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. I think the interesting thing too is that when we're thinking about kindness and if we, we do acts of kindness for people, I think where it really becomes a very authentic and beautiful gift to give someone is that when we don't expect anything in return. So, and also that we don't necessarily need to be putting it on YouTube or Facebook that, hey, I just did this for this person. Like, I think there's also some humility in it as well. There's incredible people around that do incredible things, but until you have a one-on-one conversation with them, you mightn't actually realize what they do. And I think that there needs to be that little bit of humility there when when we do something kind for someone, it's just because you're doing it with unconditional love, not because you're expecting something in return.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not about a scorecard or keeping score.
Yeah. Exactly.
Plus, it'll make your heart feel amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It does, because I can tell you I've seen Santa Papa John a number of times, and he's never frowning, and I can't help but to smile when I see him. So, yeah, if we can make that more contagious.
Yeah. And a smile, like giving someone a smile, it just amazes me that, you know, you see people walking down the street, and if you can catch eye contact and smile at them, some people are just naturally then smile back, but I love when you see someone that's not expecting it, and then they all of a sudden they realize, and they're like, oh, and then they smile back at you, and it feels really nice to think, okay, well, I've broken the moment of whatever they were thinking of, or if they were frowning, and you know, a smile just makes you feel completely different.
Yeah,
they could be wrapped up in the debts of reality on you know, how am I going to pay my next rent, how am I going to, you know, whatever bill, you know, as they're walking down the street, not thinking that there's other people that they can communicate with. We live in a society where, you know, walking down the street is like this, you know, and we see it, and they fall into swimming pools, they trip over people. But you know what? Hey, how are you doing today? I hope you have a wonderful day. And all of a sudden, it's like someone snaps a finger at them, and they can go, oh, somebody might care about me.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jackie, with your beautiful dog Macy, I know that she brings you a lot of joy as well. So I think pets are also another way to bring joy to people.
So much joy. I tell her every day. Every day I say to her, "You're so easy to love," and I tell her what a good girl she is. And yeah, she definitely brings me a lot of joy. So yeah, she's as I said, I just tell her every day that she's so easy to love. So.
Do we get to see her?
Yeah, sure. Would you like to see her?
Absolutely.
Dogs always make me happy.
I think you got a few dog moms on here.
Yeah,
while she gets her, I'll tell you, because I have a service dog. And so he's a little bit different because he can go everywhere with me. And most people know they need to ask if they can pet or see him first because he is a service dog. But, you know, when I tell them it's okay, just to see them be able to light up, or then people will open up. Maybe they just lost their dog or something. And it just helped them warm their heart just to be able to see him and pet him.
Yeah.
Oh, what a cute.
Oh, that's Macy. Oh, hey, Macy.
So she's small enough to put on your lap. Mine is not. Mine is 80 pounds.
A little bit of a difference.
A little bit of a difference. Yes.
Yeah, she brings me a lot of joy for sure. So, but with Santa Papa John, you're speaking my language, because I think the world is not in a good place, and I think bringing kindness and gentleness and peace is just such an important role for us as kind of healers and educators and teachers and business people. I work as a counselor and a psychotherapist, but I also teach meditation. And so I kind of call myself an energy change consultant, because I'm really about changing the energy of kind of wherever I go. I work in places that I work with in Australia, Department of Communities and Justice. So they're working with people that are, you know, homeless, legal aid, escaping domestic violence. So lots of places where people are kind of in base survival. So my role is to kind of counsel staff, and so a lot of them are like their clients. And so I go in, and when we're meditating, the energy just shifts so much, you know, and we try to focus on positivity. And a lot of people don't even know what it's like to feel happy or positive. They don't know how to have good feelings. So I feel like my place in the world is to go out and show people life isn't only about misery. You know, there's lots of good things. Like, when I wake up in the morning and I've got Macy with me, the first thing I feel is like love for her. So. Yeah.
I apologize. Y'all have to bear with me there. I'll leave Megan to moving that around. I was like, okay, wait, we have another person that joined us. I'm trying to make it fit. I didn't mean to shrink anybody, so I apologize. But it's okay, Amelia. Jackie, so maybe you can share with us too. Is there something that you have ever done, or maybe that someone did for you that was unexpected?
I think because I'm a counselor, people think that I always I think when you're the healer or the helper, they don't actually understand that you need things too. And I'm probably not the best person of giving out the vibe that I think I've been probably very responsible and capable since I was kind of very young. So, I think I focus more on my role of creating positive energy. But I just notice even, if I'm walking down the street and I'm playing a meditation on my phone or whatever, and I've got that vibe, you kind of get the vibe back as well. It's just that people tend to smile at me a lot. So I think that's probably one of the things that I want to open up to is maybe I'm good at providing kindness for others, but also learning how to receive it myself.
And that's a very valid point, because a lot of us always tell you, hey, if you need help or if you need something, just ask. Yet when we need help ourselves, we very seldom ask. And so
I think that's probably one of the biggest lessons I'm learning this lifetime. I'm going to be 60 next year, and I'm like, so I think it goes kind of both ways, because I think as a counselor, you're used to being the person that listens, the person that shows empathy. So for me, it's a good thing to also practice receiving as well. And so when I'm running my meditation classes, I do a heart opening exercise where we practice sending out love and we practice receiving love. So I'm also on board with that too.
Yeah. And it can be a small thing. It doesn't have to be grand. Because I will tell you, 8 days ago, I turned 57 years young, and I was overwhelmed because I had over 220 people and I don't necessarily know them good, but they're connections on Facebook, but some of them take time to send you a quick little video, a message. And I mean, even if it's just, okay, Facebook does it already for you. It says, happy birthday. All you got to do is click. But the fact is that they took that second to click. Yeah. So I spend my day trying to answer to every single one individually, because I just feel if they could take the time to do that, then I could at least take the time, to say thank you. But I mean, that just really lit up my day, and it's something small. It doesn't have to be big.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think it's the really small gestures that kind of add up. It doesn't have to be, and kind of as Megan was saying, it's kind of the things that happen in those kind of quiet moments. Small gestures, I think they all add up, and just in quiet moments, and I think humility is a really big thing too. So we don't have to be, I think, spreading kindness. I'm really big on peace, love, and light. Those are the words that I use a lot. Spreading peace, love, and light, because I think the world really needs it right now. So I think any kind of small gesture that we're doing is making a difference. And I think Santa Papa John said, it's that ripple effect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say that having known Jackie for quite a while now, whenever I go over to her place, Macy greets me at the door, which is always beautiful, because she's always like, who is this person? Oh yeah, that's right, you're allowed in.
She gets very excited. She gets very excited when people come visit. So
But spending any time with Jackie is just a joy. So she definitely practices what she preaches, that's for sure.
Yes. I'm definitely about walking my own talk. So I know with a lot of therapists, they spend a lot of time kind of helping others and then don't necessarily practice turning that energy back inward. So I run a lot of workshops and stuff on self-care, self-love, self-esteem, self-worth. I think those are all the messages that we need for people to kind of understand, is that as you help others, that's a really important thing. And it's also turn that energy, inwards as well, and practice lots of self-care and self-love as well. So it's a two-way street. So that's a lot of the workshops that I run too.
Absolutely. Beautiful. As I say, everybody I know of on here is the same way as well, and of the same mindset.
Yeah.
Rosemary, how about you? Because I know you won't be able to stay with us for the whole time. So,
yeah, well, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
For me, what jumps out just by this, the theme of 365 days of kindness and what, other people have shared already is that there are two parts to this. One is showing kindness to others and then showing kindness to ourselves as well. Because, it's when we show kindness to others, whether or not it's a smile or offering services, free of charge, it can be quite empowering, because then, and empowering and uplifting as well. I think about Jean's example where she's helping others to, excel in their work and offering some free services. That's quite an empowering tool because they're going to then use that act of kindness in their own personal and business development, but even, offering a service or a smile as well can also be quite uplifting. And so I think why can't we do that to ourselves? Why can't we also prioritize showing kindness to ourselves, empowering ourselves, uplifting ourselves? And I work using a strengths-based approach. And, how often do we acknowledge our strengths? Because sometimes it's easier for us to acknowledge the strengths of others and the achievements and give those small compliments that do go a long way, because we all know how good it feels when we do receive a compliment and how sometimes it just reminds us of the good in us and the good in our lives as well. So, yeah, really important, particularly over this holiday season where there's a lot of comparison and a lot of doing things for others. Let's also show kindness to ourselves and acknowledge, compliment ourselves, acknowledge our strengths and how far we've come. And, rather than beat ourselves up for making a mistake, let's look at what we have learned from that.
And Rosemary works in family law mediation as well. So you work with people who at that time are filled with upset and anger and frustration and all of those emotions, particularly with children involved. So I think you get a really good look at what kindness can mean to somebody, particularly when you're looking at people in those sort of situations.
That's right, because when we are going through a challenge or adversity, it's so easy to really look at what's going wrong in our situation, and a bit harder to then see the light, I guess. And then if someone is sitting there and points out, how much you've overcome and, how much passion you are showing about, for your children and for your family and for, if we're getting through this and how much strength you have and courage, then it can just, share a different story that maybe that individual or that family haven't really focused on because of the demands of everyday living in their situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, Rosemary, since you see people in their most challenging times, is there something that you normally do or something that you do to just kind of give them a little bit of that kindness or make them feel a little more at ease?
Well, I think my role as a mediator is naturally inclined to aid that, because I have to say I'm here not to take sides, not to give a judgment, or give an opinion. It's just about facilitating that conversation, but I do so through a strengths-based lens. So, it's listening, actively listening to what's being said and seeing, I guess, the good or the strength or the qualities that what's happening and how they're responding or what they're sharing is showing about them. And, as I said, it's often a different narrative or a narrative that they've forgotten about or don't often hear. And to have a stranger, an outsider, witness that and acknowledge that can sometimes be quite powerful, to even just shift towards looking towards kindness and kindness to themselves.
Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely. I was going to say, I think that's the important part too, which is why one of the reasons why I focus on building judgment-free communities, because I think we all get judged enough, and most of the times we're our own worst critic. So how many of us are extremely hard on ourselves? We may be kind to everyone else, but we beat ourselves up way too often, I think.
Mm.
And that's why often I say, let's be our own mediator for ourselves, for our self-talk, for our overthinking, that, you know, how can we show some independence and non-judgment in that?
Yeah, beautiful.
So
Thanks for joining us, Amelia.
Yes.
My cell phone said 4:30 and not 4, so I apologize.
It's okay. It's that time zone thing. So you're on with people from all around the world. Megan is in Sydney, Australia, so we get to have all different kinds of viewpoints.
You guys have all better lighting than me. It's almost dark here. I'm going to dip out for 2 minutes and go shut the chickens.
And we're a day ahead of you as well, so we've time traveled.
Yes. Yay, time
Just
travel.
a little bit.
It's nice. It's nice hearing everybody say self-care. I could use all of you today. It's been a rough day. It's been a rough week for me, but yeah, no, that's good. I'm always nice to other people. I understand completely. I'm the same way. I'm always nice to other people. I'm always trying to help other people. And then when it comes to me, I'm like, nope, I screwed that up. You know.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I'm better than I used to be, but still, you know.
So I will tell any of you people, any of you guys watching, Amelia is amazing. I had her on. She's an herbalist. She's in Connecticut, and she will tell you how much you are literally walking on our food and nutrition source. And she makes all these really cool videos where she identifies stuff that you're probably trampling on every day, and she will tell you how she can make them into tinctures and heal. She is like this whole wealth of knowledge. So, yeah, she works very hard at helping people to, live healthier. And anyway, yeah,
and heal themselves and live a cell at the turkey who's a jerk.
Did he talk back?
Oh, he's been chasing me. He's going to be dinner. He was supposed to be spared, but he's decided to start chasing me this week. And I'm like, no, you can be dinner. You're going to go in the pot. Sorry.
I remember that post on LinkedIn about how he was spared for Thanksgiving, but Christmas is coming up. So.
I had two male turkey. There was supposed to be a girl. It ended up being a boy. And I'm like, well, guess what? You want to be mean to me? You're going to go in the pot. So anyway, I mean, he's getting really healthy, really great food, and spoiled rotten, and living in the backyard. The last one, the one that I processed for Thanksgiving, had literally this much fat on him. That means I overfed him. He was very fat and very happy. So anyway, I know that has nothing to do with this. Kindness, be kind to yourself. Yes, absolutely. and others. I'm not going to be kind to the turkey. No, he attacks me every time I see him. So yeah.
So besides animals, when it comes to people or business or yourself, have you ever experienced like just a random act of kindness that someone either did for you or you've done for someone else?
As weird as it sounds, all right. So this is going to sound a little bit egotistical. I'm not trying to be egotistical right now. I'm not trying to be like tooting my own horn. But anytime, like I have had days where I feel like I'm not doing anything right, or there's like nowhere near enough money coming in, or whatever thing with my business is like in my mind going awful, and somebody on usually social media will say something just without me prompting or saying, oh, I have a bad day or anything like that. Somebody will inevitably come up and be like, you've changed my life. You're so awesome. Thank you. I've learned so much from you. Oh, you're so wonderful. I wish I could be just like you. And people say something like that, and it like just brightens my whole day. And so that's, one of many reasons why I like to give back. I get thousands of people asking me for health advice and things. And I'm like, well, I'm not a doctor, but at the same time, I can help you a little bit with some of this stuff. And, I do the best I can to help as many people as possible. So like, I guess we're paying each other back, They boost me up and I help them feel better.
And you just mentioned it right there, because you never know. unless you put it on social media, you never know when something is going terribly wrong in someone's life. Because how many of us walk around with that smile when you're in an entire, you know what show?
Oh yeah, yeah.
in your life, and you just never know whose life you're going to be able to change by something small.
I've
or even
started to
minor.
be more open on social media, at least like on my public social media, because the people that follow my business and me as a businesswoman are nicer to me than the people that I had in my personal life. So I'm like, you know what? If the public is going to lift me up and make me feel better, I'll share this with them. Like, hey, I lost my well water this week. I have no water in my house all week. So I shared that on social media, and I actually, when I did that, like 5 people that live not too far from me stepped up and were like, "Oh my God, do you need help? Do you need water? I can get you water. If you need to shower at my house, you could shower." And it was wonderful because I'm like, I don't have those people in my personal life that I can ask, and these people that are only met twice are like, "Oh no, absolutely, come on over. You can, use my facilities,
Wow.
whatever you need." It's wonderful.
Beautiful.
It's
Beautiful.
Okay,
I
ladies.
feel like that's my community now, the people that are following me on
Okay,
social media.
ladies. Let me ask you a question. What important lesson did we just learn from Amelia?
To ask for help?
Yeah,
No, you
or share
surround
with
yourself with people that are positive.
Yes.
Yep.
If you want to
Yes.
succeed in business, and I'm not, I mean, this is Gene's territory. If you want to succeed in business and you want to succeed in life, you surround yourself with people that are smarter, that know more than you, that are happier than you, if that is possible. But I mean, you hang around with people that are negative, you're going to get dragged down, whether it in business or personal.
Yeah,
Mm.
for
Yeah.
sure.
And I think it's
Generally the
also
wrong
about
vibration and the wrong energy.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it's
you work so
also
hard raising your vibration, and then you end up around somebody that's like, "Oh yeah, my best friend, by the way, says all the time he's so poor and I can't do this and I can't do that." And it's like, "Hello, I just spent 2 hours meditating that away from me. Stop."
Rosemary, what were you going to say?
that it's also about surrounding ourselves with people who believe in ourselves, because often those sort of negative comments are people who are a little bit dismissive or doubt what we're trying to do. And that sort of really jumped out with Amelia's example of how her personal, social media wasn't as uplifting and encouraging as her professional, because with the professional, it's all people who are interested and support and believe in Amelia. And I guess and when people believe in you, it's easier for you to believe in yourself as well. When people don't believe in you, it's easier for you not to believe in yourself.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
So I think that's also, really important.
And I know Andrea has had a lot of experience with that. So Andrea, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, I know I've been a little quiet. But yeah, so I'm like resonating with everything everyone is saying. And it's just bringing flashbacks of all my work. So I've worked in primarily nonprofits my entire life, from special education teaching to working with refugees and immigrants, and working overseas in educational arenas. And every position I've had, I've been able to, I've had the privilege of advocating for individuals and learning from them, and seeing how seeing and I would say hearing, I shouldn't say, sometimes seeing all the challenges that people live through and survive, and continue to live their life and look towards the positive. Like with my work with refugees, some of them came from countries where, war torn, personal violence against them and or their loved ones who may have not survived, like everything gone, and then coming to the United States. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania right now, and just experiencing the challenges of that, and having that hope and all, and being able to be the person to one of the people privileged enough to guide them along their way, and with a smile, and because sometimes they need it, and because refugees, as you may or may not know, have, and even any individuals who are seeing challenge, experiencing challenges and struggles, there's a certain level of PTSD that's involved, and so to be able to be that person to that they can go to, and that they know will be able to listen, and provide that smile, and be able to just guide them along the way. It's just a privilege. So this 360 days of kindness is just wonderful, because I always believe in a smile as every time I hear Santa Papa John, I want pizza. Santa Papa John.
Like, I've never heard that before.
Papito Juan, I call him Papito Juan. So Santa
Are you ready?
Papa John. I mean, smile. It's like that song, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. It's contagious. Laughing's contagious. And so I always make it a point in all my work to try not to let my personal life affect how I am, how I come off with those that I'm helping, because I try to leave my best to leave it at the door, because I want to be that person to provide that smile, that laughter, that shoulder to cry on, that ear to listen, because it when you're that sounding post, it just releases all that stress from that person. And it's just a pleasure to do that for people. And in my work with diversity and inclusion, it's I get to create policies and procedures for organizations, so they can be, not that they can be that sounding board, but so their employees have the services and the structures in place to be happy, to be their most productive selves and their best selves. So yeah, I'm just
treat them more as equals, right?
Yes, and treated as equals, and just inclusive environments of where people feel valued and heard, and because that's all anybody wants, is to be seen and to be heard, and to have a seat at the table.
And Andrea, it's a really interesting point that you make, because I think when we're helping people and we're sitting and listening to people, I find that through my mind, I think, yep, I can relate to that. Yes, I can relate to that. But often people don't want to actually hear that you can relate to it. They just want to be heard themselves. And so I find that it's a constant balance of, if it's really relevant, that I could share a story about myself that I can relate to what they're talking about, and there's a relevance to the purpose of why I'm saying it, then I'll say it. But often it's just being quiet, listening, and giving that person. And for you in particular, working with refugees, I don't even want to imagine what other countries are going through at the moment. Like in Australia, I think we're probably one of the safest countries in the world, and I can't fathom what other countries are going through. So for me, able to just sit and listen to someone is more powerful, I think, than trying to relate to them.
Yeah, I agree, because sometimes people just need to get it out and cry.
Yeah.
And because when things are held in, that's where nervous breakdowns and tempers can flare up, and at the wrong time and towards the wrong people. And so anything you can do to prevent those situations from happening is a plus in my book. So and plus, just listening to them, you learn so much. It's as you said, relating to others, people. There's a time to say, oh, I can relate, but there's also a time to say, to just, as you said, listen, because sometimes people don't want you to relate, because everybody's situation and experiences are different, and sometimes they just want to be heard oftentimes I should say, they just want to be heard, as you had said, and so they can be more understood and just work through their situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's a very good point. That's why I say
John.
just listen. Sometimes people just need someone to listen or just have that shoulder to cry on. They don't necessarily need your, opinions or your thoughts unless they ask for it. But sometimes people just need that shoulder, or they just need to listen.
Yeah. Santa Papa John, we seem to have gotten a bit serious. Bring us some more joy.
So sorry. I know, I'm a Debbie Downer.
No,
You know what?
not. Definitely not.
It's people have to relieve sometimes their own tensions, and conversations can get a little serious, and that's okay. But you got to remember there is some fun side to communication as well. And when you laugh and giggle in a conversation, that means you're enjoying it more. Here I'm going. I'm not the psychologist, but
you play one on TV.
I think you are. I think you are the psychologist.
Yeah.
Well, I've learned. I tell you what, I've been a DJ for 40 years. I've been a truck driver for 30. I've been Santa for 7, and it all involves dealing with people and communicating with people and talking to people, but more importantly, listening to other people. And you can't solve problems, you can't create problems until you have a communication. And whether it's good or bad, I mean, it's all part of the communications that, will create the bond, because you're creating a relationship. And once you create the relationship with the people, whether you're friends, your neighbors, your business associates, once you have, it takes it to the next level, and you can now talk about different things that maybe an acquaintance or a business professional you can't really talk to. But when you become friends more than acquaintances, it opens up the doors to building that relationship.
Yeah, and I got to tell you guys, because I got to rat him out a little bit, but we were talking about that support system, and I will tell you that if it was not for Mrs. Claus, we would not have Santa Papa John. Maybe you can share that little story with him, because I thought that was kind of funny, because that was not even necessarily his idea.
I have 5 children. And now between the two of us, we have 8 children and 26 grands and great grands.
Wow.
It can be a lot of fun at times, but yes, I was Mr. Scrooge growing up with my children, and I had that H word about Christmas. We hated Christmas. And now I'm Father Christmas, so it's amazing. Yes, I met my wife online, and I sent her a picture without the beard, and then I showed up with the beard, and she said, "Hi, Santa," and I went, "You're crazy. I hate Christmas." She says, "Nobody hates Christmas." I says, "You didn't meet my ex." So the short story is, she hands me a handful of candy cane one day, and she says, "Next time you're walking through a big store and you hear some kids squawking, go talk to them." And I went, typical male response is, "Here, little girl, you want some candy?" I said, "I'm going to go to jail." And of course she says, "No." She kicked me in the shin, and she says, "Just go try it." So I'm walking through one of the big box stores. This was early, I think it was like October, early November, maybe. And I still had this. I've had this for 14 years. And I hear some kids squawking. Now I'm in a black jacket, black pants, black tennis shoes. The only thing white on me is this. And of course there was no red. So I walk around the corner, and there's 3 kids in this little cart, and wah, 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 like this to Mom. And I just went, "Hey, are you guys supposed to be squawking back to Mom like that? Isn't she shopping here for you guys?" And that's it. I shut up. Well, they looked at me, they looked at Mom, they looked at me, and they went, "Santa, what are you doing here?" And I went, maybe there is this thing about it. And I went, well, I'm listening to some young children squawk back at mom when she's actually shopping for you guys, isn't she? Well, yeah. So I talked to him for a few minutes, and then I said to mom, can they have a candy cane? And mom said yes, because you got to ask. So of course, mom had a big grin on her face, and I says, now you got to remember, I'm going to give you these candy canes, but I might walk around the corner again tomorrow. So you guys got to step up your behavior level a little bit and be nice to mom because she's shopping here for you guys. We will, we promise, we will. And I said, okay, Santa's got to leave to go talk to some more children. And I walked around the corner. Of course, mom chased after me and she said, thank you, thank you, thank you. I think you just made shopping enjoyable for at least till Christmas. And I said, you're more than welcome. And I said to myself, well, maybe there is something to this. And now I'm going on to year number 7, and it has truly changed my life and my world. The reality of it is I can bring so much happiness and cheerfulness to, children of all ages. It's not just the little ones. It's adults as well. I'm pretty big on TikTok. And even last night I had this lady, I would suggest she was maybe 65 or 70. And she wanted to talk, and she come on and talk. And I said, so where's the little ones? Oh, the grandchildren are sleeping. I just wanted to have a word with Santa to say, thank you. You're doing a great job. And I wanted some time with Santa, and I'm going, okay, maybe I've got something going here. And yeah, I hit 83,000 followers last night on TikTok. So.
Oh,
That's awesome.
So you're on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You just helped them get off the naughty list.
I did. But, it's, again, we go back to the conversation. Sometimes people need, not just from me, but from all you ladies, you all have an amazing ability to have a great conversation with different people. And when we share that we're happy and we're positive, that's going to resonate to the other people that we're talking to. I don't have to have the suit and the hat on to share happiness. And you guys, it sounds like you do the same thing. But, we need to share more of that with this world that we're in, because there's a lot of people that are pretty mixed up and confused. And I just happen to be a big old jolly guy in a red suit most of the time. And a lot of people will respond to me very positively. But, if we all step up a little bit at a time, how much more are we going to change this world?
You seriously look like Santa Claus. Like, I watch a lot of Hallmark Christmas movies, and you seriously look like Santa Claus.
I have been told by professional photographers with 25 years experience
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
that I'm one of the most authentic looking Santas that they've seen.
Yeah, for sure.
I just followed you on TikTok.
That
My
lady
other
did.
friend is. I have 2 of them. My other friend's pretty authentic looking too, but this one, he's very
Wow.
public and out there. That is beautiful.
That
That's
little
amazing.
peanut is 10 days old.
Oh.
Oh.
Were you on TikTok live last night?
I was.
I am
Oh.
almost positive I came across your page last night.
Yeah.
You might have a slight TikTok addiction.
Now
we
you've got 83,002 followers.
Yeah, there you go.
That young lady was 91.
Oh.
Wow.
And one more. And
There you go.
she makes all our suits for us.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
And my
nice.
belt, if you can see the little bit of the belt there,
Yeah.
my belt
Yeah.
alone is worth $700.
Wow.
Wow.
But the reality of that is you all run a business. You all invest in yourself to improve your business. I invest in suits and belts and
Yeah.
that's what is self-investment is. You take yourself to the next level. And for me, the kids can see the fake stuff real quick. Especially the fake beards and, the $50 Walmart suits and, so it And like any business, you push yourself to a certain level, and then you say, well, in order for me to take the next level, I have to buy this tool or this item or this product to help me take my business to the next level.
Yeah.
We all do it. We learn new programs online to do whatever that program does, but we self-invest by doing networking, by doing courses, by going to Santa school. Yes, there is such a thing. I go to Santa school. But that's called self-investment because we want to take our businesses to the next level.
Is there a Santa conference?
Yes, there is.
There is. There's been Santa Cruises too.
There is Santa Cruises too.
I have
And
a
not
friend in
just-
Colorado that dresses up is Santa every year. He has a beard and has little glasses. I don't have a picture nearby, but he's actually in Vegas right now, I think with Bass Pro Shops being a Santa for the season. So he travels around and does the same thing.
Wow.
Well, I'm 59 and I still absolutely love Santa.
Well, that's wonderful.
I get into Christmas big time. As I said,
I love Christmas, but I hated Santa when I was a kid. I have like 5 pictures of me crying as far away from Santa as possible.
One of the photographers I work with just put a picture on of a little boy that's now seen me 4 years in a row. And the first one was totally crying, and now he's giving me a great big hug because he's come back every year.
Oh, nice.
That's nice.
Where are you?
I work with
Papa
I work with 2 amazing photographers that are absolutely incredible with children. And I believe, I've seen it that, if Santa doesn't have a big heart, the photographer doesn't have a big heart, you're going to get those children that are scared. And we all see that there's the scared screaming pictures, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. But both of my photographers, they're amazing, and they can take that 2 or 3, 4 minutes and transform that screaming into all of a sudden they're sitting on my knee with a big smile and giggle. And that's truly amazing. So
Wow.
I don't just play a big part of it. I mean, my photographers do as well.
Yeah. Where are you located?
In Brainerd, Minnesota.
Minnesota. Yep.
About 2 hours northwest of Minneapolis, but I'll be in Minneapolis all day tomorrow.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Yep.
And Amelia, did you say that you had lots of fun? Was it because you were scared of Santa, or you just didn't like him?
I just have every photograph of me with Santa, like my little sister's on his knee, and I'm just like,
It's amazing.
get away. When
I tell people when they come in, 18 to 28 months is the magic number. You can put 3 of them in front of me from 18 to 28 months. One will come running up and give me a great big hug. The second one will just stand there and look. And then, of course, the third one will be screaming for no rhyme or reason. And, you put 3 of them and you can't figure it out sometimes. And you just got to go with the flow and have fun.
When my son was 2, we were at a mall for some reason, and he saw Santa, and he walked straight up to sit, like he'd never gone near a stranger or anybody in his life. He said, "Santa," and he walked right up and had a conversation with Santa, and it was the cutest. I was like taking as many pictures as I could because we didn't expect it. We didn't like stand in line waiting, nothing.
Really?
Santa was sitting there in this seat with the mall. Nobody was around. It was completely empty. And he walked up and said, "Hi, Santa," and Santa's like, "Hi, how are you?" and gave him a little kiss. It was the cutest thing in the world, and I'm like, that was like the most magical moment of my kid's childhood. It's wonderful.
But those memories you'll remember for your lifetime.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I will. He won't, but I'll remember it.
I've got a few friends that they're, from when they had their children, and they're with Santa, and then the children are with Santa as well. And now the kids are 23, 24, and every year they still take them and get the family photo with Santa. These really big guys that, you know, are like 6'5" sitting on Santa's knee.
I've got a 350-pound linebacker sitting on my knee.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you got a good supportive chair.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw a woman on TikTok dressed her children up as Lock, Shock, and Barrel from The Nightmare Before Christmas, and then took them to sit on Santa Claus's lap.
Oh, really?
And that
Hilarious.
Santa absolutely loved it. Was like, this is kind of awesome. They had a picture of him putting his feet into a big black plastic bag because they were kidnapping him.
Wow.
It was pretty awesome.
So
before we forget, Laura, are you going to take a picture, or you want me to take one?
You can take a picture. I got enough things to control. I'll let you take the picture.
Everybody smile. Hang on. All right, looking.
Tell Santa what you want for Christmas.
That didn't work.
So let's go around the horn here and let's see. So how do you think, how can we cultivate a mindset of peace and goodwill in our daily lives starting next year? I mean, let's start today. I don't think we have to wait till New Year's. I know a lot of people get hung up on New Year's resolutions. That's not something I've ever really gotten hung up on, but, you know, because I think when you need to make a change, you just get the change and get her done. So any suggestion? What, Rosemary, let's start with you.
Yeah.
While Megan rearranges people.
I'll rearrange some people to accommodate Anne coming in.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rosemary.
I think it's really important for us to remember to show forgiveness to ourselves in the times when we might set a goal to, you know, be kind to ourselves and you know, set whatever it could be known as a New Year's resolution or anything like that, to facilitate kindness to ourselves. But then as soon as we can't keep up with that, we're so hard on ourselves. And that might be the thing that derails us from achieving that goal. So, you know, how about we just show forgiveness to ourselves for the times when we don't achieve what we set out to be, and then get back, learn from it. You know, what was it that derailed us, and what strength or learning can we take from that? Because, you know, so many times we have those New Year's resolutions or you know, goals or set to do something, and life happens and we get off track and we can't complete, or we partially complete, or we get disheartened. And that's the time where there is an opportunity for personal growth, because that's where we can learn about ourselves and push through. But it really does require forgiveness and again, kindness to ourselves.
Yeah. And I'll have to share one thing. For me, one of the things I have started to do, because it has happened to me a couple of times now, and I know how it made me feel. You know, you do these one-on-one meetings with people, you're getting to know them and getting to know about them being on a show or how you're going to do business with them. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, I had a card delivered to me that had the most beautiful things saying in there. They took my pictures, had put it in there, you know, and had all these kind things to say. And that just really made my day. So for me, I've tried to make a point to let people know how much that I do appreciate them. If I do have their addresses, send them a card. I even have a lady in Denmark. Every now and then, every morning, I get these, you know, nice positive thoughts of, let's have a beautiful day, or hope you have a beautiful day, this, and that. And, you know, 2 totally different time zones, but it doesn't matter. But it's nice to wake up and to have those messages. And sometimes it can really start your day off. So that is something that I have pretty much put that I'm going to make sure I do more of and take that time, because it doesn't take long. And I know how it makes me feel. So my hope is that it will make the other person feel, you know, just as well, or give them a great start in their day.
Exactly. Welcome, Anne.
Hello.
I'm overwhelmed. We've never had this many people in on a special, so I will apologize now, but at least we have Megan to rearrange and put people in. So
I hate to interject, but I need to pop off. I have to go to my dress rehearsal. I have a holiday concert tomorrow, so I
Oh,
Let me take one more
wow.
picture.
Wow.
Okay.
Let Pam just
Okay.
stepped on, and we'll
Okay.
take one more picture.
All right.
Straighten out my hat. There we go.
there you
You
go.
got it.
Awesome.
Andre,
Thank you. Well,
before
thank
you
you
leave,
so
do you
much.
want to share with us something that you plan to do? Start 365 days of kindness.
Yeah. Actually, this whole conversation has inspired me to re-up my daily giggle groove Instagram. So I started it a little more than a year ago, and I stopped because I got busy with other things. But it was I'm gonna do it again. Maybe not every day, but a couple times a week. And it's basically I do a what's it called an ode, a short ode, and it has a theme. And the whole purpose of Daily Go Go Groove is to lift people's spirits up. And so the ode is a short ode that is connected to a song that just brings up emotions, like happy emotions. And so I play this song, and I also sing the song with the song on YouTube. So, and I encourage everybody to sing along with me. And so, and because, who cares who's listening, sing your heart out. And the ode is an encouraging ode to, there's always a theme that, like, don't give up, if you're experiencing any kind of hardship, it'll pass. You just got to keep your chin up and everything. So it has things like that. But it's also connected to the song of the day. So I think I'm gonna start that up because I enjoy doing that, and I got some good responses from that. It's just good feels all around. So I think I'm going to start doing that to just lift people, hopefully contribute to lifting people's spirits up, even if it's making a fool of myself with my terrible singing voice.
I work myself up to that, but thank you for that because I enjoy watching those.
Andrea,
Yes,
how could we and all the audience follow that? Is it on Facebook or Instagram?
Yeah, it's on Instagram. So it's Daily Giggle Groove. Daily Giggle
Groove. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It has a picture of my dog. Groovy background. So I'll start that up again. Yeah, feel free to listen to it.
We will put the link in the information for the show. Yeah, so that people can start following it. Yeah.
We'll
awesome. Great.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's the personal side. And then I also have, of course, as Laura knows, my business side. So I do have Instagrams for diverse use too. So, which is more of my services, but Daily Go Groove is all good feels.
Well, thank you.
No strings attached.
Thank you for joining us, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, however you celebrate it. But we appreciate you.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Laura. And it was lovely meeting everybody. Happy holidays and Happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Talk to y'all later. Bye.
I've only got another minute or two, too. I've got to make
go ahead.
dinner, so.
Okay, Amelia, go ahead and share before you got pop off.
Oh, no. What do you want me to share? I'm sorry. What?
No. What are your plans how are you planning to start your 365 days of kindness?
Does it count if I'm kind to myself?
Oh, absolutely. You got to start with you. If you don't start with you, how can you expect other people? Because what you do is going to vibrate out to others, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm going to be kind in not forcing myself, in allowing myself to just accept that the universe is taking care of me and I don't have to push myself so hard. So all the time. That's the kindest thing I can think of anybody doing. I mean, because I'm sure all of us have days where we push ourselves really hard. I've been pushing myself so hard for so long. I'm so burnt out, and I'm going to accept it. Accept it. Whatever comes my way is meant for me. So
well done.
Well, we're all here for you. So if you ever need to reach out, a lot more people that are here to support you. But I think you're doing a beautiful job, and I love following your videos. They're fun.
Thank you.
And informative.
That's the goal there. So, all right. thank you guys. It was great to meet you. Happy holidays. I got to go make dinner. I'm sorry
Yep.
it's late here.
Nope. Happy holidays, Amelia. We'll see you.
Have a good one.
And Rosemary, you probably need to pop off as well, do you?
Yes, I will. Yeah.
And so what will your 365 days of kindness involve moving forward?
Well, I guess it's, like what others have touched on. It's being kind, showing kindness to myself as well is quite important because, I'm an overthinker, and sometimes I can really catastrophize things in my head around what my contribution to whatever the situation is. And so I think, well, if I had a friend who was telling me what I'm telling myself, what would I say to that friend? How can I be a good friend to myself and show myself kindness when I'm starting to, deviate into everything's going wrong and I did the wrong thing and I can't believe that self-doubt, to try and flip it to show kindness to myself. And it's really whatever I would do to others, to do it for myself as well.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Rosemary wrote a book called It's Not You, It's Me, A Chronic Overthinker's Guide. And so she talks about what's wrong and what's strong, and concentrating on the what's strong. So, very interesting insights in that book, definitely.
Thank you.
I have been told that is my superpower if I just learn how to embrace it. So I am an overthinker as well.
And it definitely can be, because if you can overthink, I say that, overthinking is an analysis of a situation that focuses on what's wrong, whereas reflection is an analysis of a situation that focuses on what's strong, the strengths in that situation. So if you can overthink, you can reflect and use that to increase resilience, and to increase personal growth as well, and not be so impacted by the self-doubt of others. So, if you're an overthinker, you can definitely reframe that.
I love it. Thank you for sharing with us.
And thank you
for joining us.
Thank you. It's been so lovely chatting and connecting with you all. And have a lovely Christmas break, happy holidays, and a good start to 2025.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
you too.
Thank you. Bye.
So, Anne, we've got about 23 minutes left. And since you joined us late,
the spotlight is yours, Anne. It's all yours.
Go ahead, Megan. Go ahead and introduce Anne.
So Anne was my second guest in the first season that I hosted the show. And Anne is an online business manager. So she's actually my online business manager, but she's also an incredibly deep and beautiful, intuitive, oh my gosh, her and my conversations are quite funny because we'll be talking about business and then I'll say, oh my God, I just got this. They just told me this. And she's like, oh, because my mum pops in all the time. She's like, your mum just said this and we've got to do this.
Yes, her mum's quite bossy.
My mum, it's funny.
I had one weekend, I was like, right, I'm going to go work and I'm going to work on my business. I'm going to get all this stuff done. And then in pops this lovely lady and she just wouldn't leave. She wouldn't leave until I did all this stuff for Megan. She stayed with me all day and 8 hours. I didn't get anything done I wanted to do because she insisted this needed to be done. So I'm like, all right, I oblige. Let's get it done. So, yeah, it was good. But,
And we've been talking about 360 days of kindness. So I don't know if you want to share maybe something that has been done for you or that you do for others, or what do you plan to do to start your 365 days of kindness?
I have 3 kids and we instill every night when we have dinner that we ask the kids, what we have 5 questions. What was your highlight of the day? What was your challenge? What are you grateful for? What was your funny moment? And then what we've been adding into it is, what are you doing for yourself? What do you do? Because my daughter had a bit of a challenging year with some kids. So we're like, well, what are you going to do in today to give to you? What are you going to do to empower yourself? So we decided that it was quite good that this is part of our bigger conversation. You know, we need to, our goals for 2025 is to instill more of doing things for ourselves. I mean, I know my husband and I, we're very guilty of doing everything for everyone, but we neglect us. I'm always the last. And Megan and I have had this conversation that at night, like when I go to bed, I have a little saying that I say, but I always put myself last on the list. And I'm always last. Like, that's just how I was, I guess, brought up. And my mum's the same. And so, you know, Megan and I had this best conversation about it. And she's like, I want you to put you first on the list. And I'm like, oh, that's a bit strange. And she's like, the world's not going to fall apart. Just give it a go. And I'm like, yeah. So it's been giving myself more kindness and putting myself first and looking after myself. Because, you know, at the end of the day, if I don't look after myself, the rest of them are all going to sit there wondering what to do if I'm not there to help. So, yeah, I think for me, for personal growth, it's more about doing more self-care. The kids is teaching them that. And making them look at the bigger picture on things that we're doing. My kids are just their own intuitive selves. They'll go and offer and help other people. So I'm grateful for how they've instilled it into their daily practice in life, really. And under my business umbrella, one of my clients runs a charity. So all the stuff for her charity, I don't charge. I just do it for free to help her out because I know it's not easy running a charity. And so that's my element in my business where I give. Kindness, you know, I like to send random things to clients every once in a while or take stock and just acknowledge somebody who's done something different. We had a great conversation the other night, the family, and my kids they're from ages 9 to 14 and they're all nitpicky at the moment. They're tired. It's the end of the year. So I just said, everybody stop, including my husband. I want you to tell each other one thing that you admire about what they've done in the last week and all. So for me, it was my husband was stepping up at work and just stood his ground around a topic. And I was like, I was actually blown away that you did it, but I love the way you delivered it. You know, I was so proud that you actually took ownership and stood up and didn't let them get away with it was about quality and having pride in his work. And he's very proud and, you know, would rather do things the right way. So I was like, yeah, I actually really love that you reminded them. It's not about just getting things out the door. It's about having pride in what you're doing. So, yeah, it's kind of like all these little things that we like to do. There's a really lovely couple, grandparents up the road from us, and they every year from October through to end of January, they have their house, like it's full on decorated with Christmas. And so my daughter and I bake biscuits and drop them up there. So on the day that Santa comes to visit all the kids, they've got something to hand out to all the kids. So she's like, are we doing the cookies? I'm like, yep, because I've got lots of time. Let's do it. So, yeah, so it's just, you know, it's about us just turning up for ourselves, really. And, you know, I'm very lucky in my business that I work with people that are just beautiful spirited people and, you know, make turning up to work every day so joyful. So I know that in that element, I'm in a world of kindness because they're just all really giving people.
Beautiful.
Nice. Jean, what about you?
Remind me of the question. I'm sorry. I
know you've got a lot. You have a lot on your plate, and I think a lot of us do.
Just today, like just all of a sudden, boom, right? Yeah. What was the question? I'm sorry.
That's okay, and we all have those days. I know you do a lot. Like you said, you do free stuff and stuff for people because that's more important and stuff to you. But you know, like moving forward and stuff. What other things do you think would you incorporate to help spread kindness?
Nothing. I think for this year, my kindness, and listen, it is paid kindness also. I'm kind, but I intend to get paid to help 100 women. I'm kind to myself by getting paid and charging what I'm worth, but it is about helping 100 women this year hit gross six figures, because that to me is, having been an entrepreneur for almost 40 years, that is the saddest piece for me, when women don't make enough money. That it's literally hurts my heart.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. That is important too.
That's all I'm going to do at all this whole year.
Jean has a really big heart, and she does do a lot of wonderful classes, gives away a lot of knowledge and tips. So yeah, I know she provides a lot to help the ladies get to that part, becoming successful in their second act, as she calls it.
Mm-hmm.
So
thank you, Jean.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
What about you, Jackie? Is there anything that you might implement for 2025?
Oh, I just wanted to say to all the Americans, there is a self-care movement happening in Australia. So like a lot of Australians are talking about, being kinder to ourselves and self-care. There is a bit of a movement happening here about people who are always helping others also learning to look after themselves, because there's a lot of professional burnout. So I thought I'd just give that context. I think for me, the thing that I'm really focused on is kind of love and gentleness. So I find it really hard to hear when people are very critical of themselves, that inner critic. I will never allow that voice in my head. So I think to replace it with gentleness, a lot of the time when I'm teaching meditation, it's about, compassion, gentleness, love. I'm very gentle with Macy, so I'm also trying to be a lot more gentle with other human beings as well. The thing that I'm kind of doing a lot at the moment is I'm giving plants as gifts, because plants last. So like when I'm giving a gift these days, it's about something that when someone looks at it, they'll go, like my next door neighbor, her mum's literally just passed away this morning. And so I gave her a plant the other day because I wanted her to, at some point, when she gets through the grief, is be able to look at the plant and focus on her mum's life. Yeah, so for me, and the other thing too, I think, is energy. Jean was talking about energy. I think when we're having conversations and communication, energy speaks louder than words. So for me, every day I just focus on my own energy and the energy that I'm putting out to the world, to other people. I just focus very much on making sure that, I have bad days too. I'm not like some perfect human being. I don't aim to be perfect. Just focusing on being in that more happy, positive, loving, gentle space. I don't allow that harshness to come in. It's just, something that I really, I don't want. And so I'm really always focused on working on my own energy. And I think gentleness and love is something that I really want to focus on for 365 days of kindness. And I just wanted to thank you guys. Today's been like really awesome, and just everyone's perspectives and where everyone's coming from and all the good that people are trying to do out there in the world. And so, I really appreciate being invited to this today.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yes. Yeah, and that's so true, because we have to be kind to ourselves, as well as others. And that's something I know I always try to focus on, is not jump to conclusions, or, maybe somebody's just having a bad day. Maybe they just need a smile to turn it around, instead of being, so negative, because negative comes easy. It takes work to be conscious and to be polite and kind to others. But Santa Papa John, I know you have other fabulous things you have going on. I know you have a program. Maybe you want to tell people about it, that you have that supports veterans.
I do. Yes. It's a whole other website as well, and I've got it in the chat as well. The Warriors Beacon of Hope. I've talked to a lot of different veterans over the last year. And, I guess it started for me about a year ago this time. A young man reached out to me on TikTok, and he says, Santa, I need to talk to you. And I says, okay, what's up? 24-year-old young man had been doing 4 tours. I'd already signed up for his 5th tour before he was 25 years old. He said, can you make me a video so that I can tell my parents I love them? He was so scrambled in his brain cells that he couldn't tell his family that he loved them anymore. He said, I want you to do a video to tell them that I'm still their young man, their little boy, but he just couldn't say it. So I quickly made up a video for him, and he wrote me down some of the prime words that he wanted me to say. And of course, I said them, and I made everybody cry, which, made me feel good in one aspect and sad in the other aspect. So we've kept in contact. And, I said to him, I said, when was the last time you seen a psych? Well, I'm on the list, and it's going to be like 6 months before I can see one, and I'm going to be deployed in 4. So as I started talking to more and more veterans, I started to hear the same kind of story. I'm on the waiting list. I'm on the waiting list. I'm on the waiting list. And I said to myself, what's Santa got to do with veterans, first of all? So I talked to my wife about it a few times, and she said, well, I'll pray to God. Maybe God will give you an answer. In the meantime, I've talked to a few other people, and I finally made a decision that Santa has to help these veterans. And what I'm doing is I'm compiling a list of services out there to give the veterans an alternative choice to the waiting list. And now I'm starting to build the list. People are signing up. And then about a month into this, someone said, oh, wait, there is a list. I went, well, how come nobody knows about it? And he says, well, they charge $5,000 a year to be on this list. And I went, are you nuts? I said, most of the organizations and people that I talk to can barely afford to pay their cell phone bill. So I'm going to charge groups $10 a month. And why I come up with $10, because it can't be free, because we understand when people get something for free, they don't put any value to it. So charging them a whopping $10 a month is going to change that brain rationale and hopefully get people to subscribe. And if they can't afford the $10, I'm going to donate them one of my stories to be on this list. And now I've taken it another step further. Lori, you haven't heard about this one yet. I just started the other day. Page 2 is I'm compiling meetings for our veterans, whether it be in person or online or networking meetings, concentrating on our veterans, on how we can help the veterans get to some meetings. Because as we talked about it in the meeting before this with a bunch of veterans, communication is key for our veterans, because veterans, they're told to, when they get up, when they have to breakfast, what time they're going to do this, what time they're going to do this. Their day is structured by time and communication from someone else. And then they get out of the service, whatever branch they're in, and they go, okay, what do I do now? So if I can help them find a meeting, find some services, find a way to communicate with them, it'll be a success. And if you know any meetings that are going, that part is going to be free to get your listing on there, that are veteran orientated meetings. I'm going to compile the list. So yes, and I understand Australia and Canada and the UK are doing the same thing for our wonderful veterans, and it's kind of sad. So I just talked to a lady that has a group in the UK, and she's got 8,000 members in her group, veterans.
Wow.
And she said the exact same thing. Yes, the veterans are put on the side burner and wait your turn. And I'm going, no, they didn't hesitate to sign on the dotted line. Why are they getting treated like second-rate citizens? Now, the VA does a good job for some people, and then some people it doesn't. I'm not saying they don't do a good job, and I'm not saying they're terrible, because that's needed in this country. But I think there needs to be a way to step up the game a little bit, because we're supposed to be the biggest and the best of everything in this country. And why do we have to treat our veterans the way we do? So that's.
I've got to go. So thank you again.
Thank you,
And
Jackie.
Thank you, Jackie. Nice meeting you.
Amazing. Yeah, nice to meet you. Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Thank you.
And I wish everyone a very blessed start to 2025.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you as well.
Bye.
So
See
after
you.
the new year, I'll be concentrating a little bit more on our veterans and building up this list and seeing how I can, create some more interest on creating stuff for our veterans.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
If it ends up spilling into Australia and Canada and the Ukraine, okay, I won't be twisting anybody's arm. So, but
Well,
thank you, ladies. This has been absolutely fabulous. I hope it wasn't just me that brought out the happiness in everybody. Like Laura says, when she sees me, it changes her mindset. And, it's not just me. It can be your world. It can be your attitude. It can be your mindset that changes just a little bit, one tick on the old proverbial mindset, and you can be a changed person. And when you change and you share that with other people, the ripple effect will happen.
Yeah. And for me, it's even the people that I meet with on a regular basis about being on the show or connect with. It's like the highlight of my day is meeting so many fascinating people across the world. And after meeting you, Santa Papa John, since we had a quarterly special and we're coming out on Christmas, then I thought, what a better time than to do 365 days of kindness and to let people know that they're supported and to let them know that it doesn't take much, to just change somebody's day around. It doesn't have to be some grandiose gesture. It doesn't even have to involve money. It could just involve time, support, listening. I think we've named a few of them. There's so many little things that we could do out there that could just make the difference in someone's world. And you don't have to know what's going on in their world. You never know what you're going to say or do, and it could make a huge difference. And you might not even know it, or they may thank you for it. And, and then that's even better.
Yeah. So Laura, what about you? What are you going to do in 2025?
Well, I restarted up my send out card program so that way I can send those beautiful cards to other people. So I try to get a better way to collect people's addresses. So I'll have the addresses. And if not, I will at least send a message either through email or Facebook or something. But yeah, for me, I have greatly appreciated the support. We've all been through stuff. We've been through tough times. Some of us are still going through it. And when you have the right people around you that have been supporting you, it's never easy to ask for that help. But I think it's important to let them know how much they are appreciated and that I do appreciate them. It's not, like I said, it's not always about money. It's just appreciating and knowing that someone's got your back. And
yeah.
So.
It's the little words that we say to other people that can make a difference in someone's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Or even just addressing them by their name. I mean, how many times do you go out to eat and you maybe have someone that's having a bad day, but they're working hard to serve your food and stuff, and you don't even take 2 seconds to remember their name or to address them by name? That could be the whole difference in their world too. Yeah. Like I said, it could be a small gesture.
I said to my kids that you should always take the time to say please, thank you, and hello, because you never know what someone else is going through. And I was coming out of the school one day and suddenly I could hear my name being called. And one of the teachers came up to me and they're like, I've never in all of my working career had a child ask me how I am. Your son is awesome. And yeah, he just said, oh, how are you going? How's your day? And he's like, yeah, good, thanks. And how was yours? And yeah, he was blown away because kids just don't ask that stuff these days. So yeah, whenever he goes into a shop, he's worked out to, rather than just, somebody says, how are you? He'll say, I'm great. How are you? And, thank you. And just takes that little extra step to acknowledge them. And I said to him, you don't know what another person's going through. You just have no idea. And yep.
Thank you for doing that with your children. We need to do more with that with our children. I'm on TikTok every night. And I says, I don't give anybody any gifts that start with I want or give me. Where is the please? Where's the thank you? Where's the may I? Oh, and then all of a sudden you'll see it again. May I please have? Oh, someone knows how to type some real words. Or, or when I'm in the conversation with them and they want, I want this. And I says, well, too bad. When you ask like that, you don't get anything. When you say please and thank you, you might get a proper answer. And I've got a couple, pastors that are actually following me on TikTok, which is really funny. But, they give me kudos because I'm being polite and I'm trying to teach is not the right word, but I'm trying to correct some of the English that, these kids, I don't know what the reality of their world is, but can you say please and thank you? And what's really sad, and I tell my wife this every night when I get off, it's really sad. So did you go outside and play in the fresh snow? No, I did this all day. I played on my tablet all day. I played games all day. It's like, go be a kid and play outside. Have some fun. But no, they got to be, their face glued to this all day long.
Yeah. It's a bit like when you go out to dinner at a restaurant and you turn around and everybody's like this. I'm like, where's your conversational skills? Where are you talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah, the restaurant.
It's truly amazing. And if this is what we have to run our country in 20 years, I'm getting really scared because these kids have no social skills at all.
I used to catch up with one of the mums when my daughter was young, and to her daughter, and the four of us used to, on a Thursday morning, go and have breakfast at a little cafe. And, of course, my daughter and I always walk in and say hello to the staff and acknowledge them and sit down. And then, when we put our order in, we, always said to my daughter, say please and thank you. And my girlfriend used to come in, sit down, never acknowledge them. Why am I not getting service? Well, have you heard of that word, please and thank you? Maybe try them. And, the staff used to come up to my daughter and I all the time going, oh, we love it when you guys come in. And then the other ones would rock up and then they would all just skirt away. And I'm like, it's that simple gesture. They're working hard. They deserve that acknowledgement.
Where do we put the blame on that, though?
Yeah, mum. Mum is the same.
Mum and dads.
Like that, yeah.
Mum and dads, they're doing the same thing. They don't have time for their children because they're too busy, lost in TikTok or YouTube or whatever excuse they can do.
I always made the conscious effort to be the parent that when the child looked up from doing whatever sport activity, I'm watching. Them, because that's going to be them. They're looking for me. I know that they're going to look up. So I never ever pulled my phone out when they were doing their sports stuff so that they could look up and see us.
Yeah.
All important points. I know we are out of time. So Megan, why don't you share with us what your plans are for your kindness and your thoughts?
So I'm going to send a note, either a text or an email or a voice message or something to someone every day. So when someone pops into my mind, I'm just going to send them a little message. It mightn't even be a message. It could be an emoji, a smiley face, or a couple of hearts or something like that. But every day I'm going to send a message to someone.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that.
Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us. It's been wonderful and enlightening, and thank you, Santa Papa John, for sharing all the wonderful things you're doing. My hope is that this gets contagious, because like I said, when you brighten someone else's day, it can brighten up yours just as well. So I've had bad days, and you get that certain person, all of a sudden it can turn your whole day. So keep that in mind. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us. I wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's.
Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays.
Yeah.
Thanks, ladies. I think I sent all of you a friend request on LinkedIn, so don't be scared to reach out. Sent lots of videos to Australia.
Great.
And you're from Australia too, or where are you from?
Yes,
Ann?
yes, I'm from South Australia.
Yep.
Yeah. So
thank you from us and to everyone around the world. And thank you for joining us. And let's all start spreading some kindness.